Hello again everyone, I am the Shaz here with the upcoming events that you can look forward to on the All-Stars global server for August and September. If you saw the last version of this video for June and July, you listened to me speculate on the Aqua subunit events coming over to the global server. Unfortunately, this didn't pan out, so it gave me a more realistic idea of what information to parse from the JP server that had a reasonable chance of coming to the global server. As with the last video, we will go over events, event cards, and which order you can expect them in for the global server. I would also like to note that I will not be covering the SRs in all of these banners unless it is a noteworthy card. This is going to be a pretty long video, so I'm going to be putting timestamps in the description so that you can click forward to whatever you're looking for if you don't want to watch the entire video. Anyways, buckle up and let's get started. Following the conclusion of the 4th FES Banner, which I talked about in the last of these videos, we get the Big Bad Wolf Exchange event, which brings Little Red Riding Hood to life in All-Stars. First, we get a new batch of Voltage ranking songs, this time including Snow Halation, Kokoro Magic A to Z, and Evergreen. Hopefully, unlike the Miracle Voyage event, we won't have any dirty freaking cheaters. Sorry about that. In addition, the temp song for this and the next event will be Brightest Melody, which we will get the attribute version for following the Chapter 13 story update. The event UR is this Big Bad Wolf? Chica, a cool attribute SP gauge fill card that, unfortunately, only serves that purpose. As a side note, since Chica now has a lion outfit and a wolf outfit, does this make her a furry? Anyways, like the Sweet Stucco event LEUR, this card has a passive that just buffs the technique stat in the same strategy, and her LSA is quite poor, as the voltage that she will add to your next SP skill is only about 601 at Limit Break 0 without any other buffs. This card is basically good for Super Big Live and maybe a couple of other songs, but as with any other event UR, the base stats of a Limit Break 0 card are so low that it's not really anything to start salivating over. The Red Riding Hood Emma UR in the first part of the event banner is actually a decent card, a pure guard card that has a shield tap active on par with the event Umi from the Miracle Voyage event, but with higher base appeal and base technique than Umi. The Hunter Rin from the second part of the banner is not that great. Because of her tap active, which is a skill activation rate up for the next 5 notes, and her SK typing, she's pretty much relegated to Super Big Live duty, which I will cover in my next video. One of the few things I will speculate on is this, the half anniversary campaign. On JP, we got this at the tail end of the Big Bad Wolf event. This essentially was a multi-part campaign with extra login bonuses, one of which was a free UR ticket. I'm holding my hopes out that we will get this on global, but I can't count on it. The August Spotlight banner gives us Karen's second UR, an elegant voltage card with another awkward kit. What is it with non-FES elegant URs and their weird kits? This Karen shares a tap active with Fruitzelli and Nico 1, but her passive is a technique buff to all members and her LSA is a shield given after completing an appeal chance. At this point, if you've scouted a decent amount, and if you have a Limit Break 2 Nico 1, a Limit Break 4 Fruitzelli, or a Limit Break 2 Rico 3, I highly advise against pulling on this banner, as all 3 of those cards, from that Limit Break and higher, actually have a higher base appeal than a Limit Break 0 Karen 2, while also having equal or better passives, and in the case of Nico 1, a way better live show active. At the conclusion of the Spotlight Gacha, we should be getting the first official Super Big Live. This is the event I've been waiting for on the global server. It is a lot of fun and puts your team building to the test. As I've stated before, this is a 20-person live that gives your lobby an overall voltage goal, along with other randomized mini goals that, if completed, gives you currency that you can exchange in the event shop for regular gacha tickets, past event URs, past event SRs, and other materials. I'm currently working on an entirely separate video going over Super Big Live, in which I plan to include cards that are normally overlooked, what songs are going to be in the first iteration of Super Big Live, team building strategies, and how you can win some MVPs. As a bit of a preview, let me give you some cards you may want to double check to see if you have. FES Yohane, Event Pana or Pana 2, Train Nico, and Snow Halation Rin. Next up, we will have the Magical Time Marathon event, which finally gives us a half-decent event UR. The costume UR that you get from tiering is a pretty good natural attribute score if you lack Kanon 1 or High Limit Break Snow Halation Kotori SR. If you end up tiering a second copy of her to Limit Break 1, she has 6094 base appeal before the application of her passive, which is an appeal buff to all members. This means that yes, even in your backline, if you need a little extra oomph, you can throw this card on your team. Her tap active is on the weaker side, as it is just a voltage gain for the next 5 nodes, and her live show active is only good if she is in a scoring strategy. The event Gacha URs are not that bad either. Nozomi finally gets a usable UR in the first banner, this one a cool voltage type. She has the 3rd highest base appeal of cool attribute cards at Limit Break 0 in this point of the game, only trailing FES Karen and Maki 1. The thing that makes her arguably better than both of those cards, however, is her full kit, which is exactly the same as Kanon 1. Her level 3 tap active is an 8% appeal boost for the next 5 nodes for cards in that strategy. Her level 3 passive is an appeal boost to all members by 3.6%, and her live show active is the chance to increase the appeal of all cards by 5% for the rest of the live upon completing an appeal chance. As an additional note, any cards that include a live show active of, whenever insert requirement here occurs, increase the appeal stat of all cards by 5% for the remainder of the live, this is one of the better live show actives in the game. This is why, if you're trying to S-rank a song for the first time, try to look for guests with this live show active. At this point in the game, the cards that have this live show active are as follows: Nico 1, Kanon 1, Daya 1, Ruby 1, Umi 2, Maru 2, Shizuku 1, FES Mari, FES Kanata, and Nozomi 3. The second part of the event Gacha banner gives us a Daya UR, an active guard type that is kinda meh. I say it's meh because her tap active is the weakest of all guard cards, the damage reduction tap active, much like Honoko 1. Her passive is an all-member stamina buff, which makes her a pretty good stamina stick backliner if you're lacking one, but her live show active is pretty weak, which is a voltage boost of 35% of her stamina that only activates at the beginning of an appeal chance. After the conclusion of the Magical Time event, we get the Story Chapter 13 update, which gives us the attribute version of Brightest Melody, which I barely S-ranked myself on JP, and Yume no Tobira, one of my favorite Muse songs. Both of these songs are cleansable, but both pose their own sets of challenges. To start, Brightest Melody has a 7.78 million voltage requirement to S-rank on Advanced, and gives bonuses to any Aqua cards you have while playing the live. Yume no Tobira has a lower voltage requirement to S-rank at 6.25 million, but you have to constantly be ready to switch strategies, as there are multiple minus 50% appeal until you switch strategy gimmick notes, in addition to requiring you to have a high appeal SP strategy to help ease you through the appeal chances, as appeal chances 1, 2, and 4 decrease base appeal of non-SP cards by 50% during the AC, while the third AC, which should be an easy SP gauge pop, increases the base SP gauge gain of SP cards by 20%. At this time, we also get our 5th FES banner, this time with an elegant SK Pana and a natural guard Zuromaru. If you're still lacking an elegant score and are planning on pulling on this banner, this Pana, if you can pull it, should help you out. She basically mimics Maki 1 in that she's a high appeal SK type card with appeal boosts in both her tap active and her passive. The only awkward part about her kit is her live show active, which increases the crit rate of cards in that strategy. This does help herself out though, as this card has a very high crit rate of 35%, so when you factor in her LSA, it could bump it up to close to a 50% chance that you'll crit on one of her taps. The FES Hanamaru is an absolutely bonkers guard type card. While lacking the offensive potential of the FES Mari before her, this Maru is actually a better defensive card overall. Shielding for 34% of her own stamina at tap active level 3, she generates about 2250 shield when her tap skill activates, which is roughly 200 more than what FES Mari would heal for. Her passive is an across the board stamina buff, and her live show active gives her a chance to heal stamina on her own taps. If you pull this card, your stamina shouldn't ever be dropping into the yellow on any song going forward until Advanced Plus difficulty comes out to the global server. Next, we come to the Veggie Wonderland exchange event. First things first, the temp song for this and the next event is going to be Wonder Zone, which is pretty fitting considering the event UR is Kotori. The voltage ranking songs are Music Start, Step 0 to 1, and Doki People Emotion. As for the event Kotori UR, the only positive thing I can say about the event Kotori is that the outfit is cute and the 2D art is nice. Everything else about the card is bad, sad, bad. Abysmally low appeal, very weak shield, her passive only increases the stamina of other cool cards, and her LSA recovers stamina upon completing an appeal chance. Yuck! As for the event Gacha cards, the Johanna UR that comes in the first banner is pretty solid. Johanna gets another cool attribute UR, this time a voltage type. Probably best suited as a secondary cool scorer as her base appeal is lower than that of Maki 1 and FES Karen, but her tap active is only a voltage boost and her passive is just like Maki 1's, boosting the appeal of other cool attribute cards. Her live show active is not particularly great, but damn it, look at how adorable this JPEG of Johanna is. Overall grade? Very usable UR if you lack any strong cool attribute scores, but would avoid intentionally pulling for if you have any 2 of Maki 1, FES Karen, or Nozo 3. The second part of the gacha gives Rina's second UR, which is very weird. Another card who has her kit all over the place. Weak tap active, an increase in crit rate for the next 10 notes, a good passive, same as Umi 2, FES Setsuna, FES Mari, Shizuku 1, Ruby 1, but because of her lower than average base appeal and her SK typing, she probably won't really ever see a frontline scoring unit basically ever. Her live show active is one of the good ones though. If activated at the beginning of the live, increase appeal stat of cards in the same subunit by 5% for the remainder of the live. After the Veggie event, we should be getting the new and improved Spotlight Gacha, where the highlighted idols will have increased UR and SR pull rates, with the FES cards obviously not being included. For this banner, we get this active SP Shizuku UR, who looks like she just popped out of the Three Musketeers. She has an average base appeal, an SP gauge gain tap active, the good appeal plus same strategy passive, but a very weak live show active. As I've said previously, most of the time Spotlight Gachas are not worth pulling. Just save the gems you would have used on this banner and spend them on the next FES banner. Next, we get the most contested event the JP server has seen thus far, the ice skating event. The event UR is this Yo, which is freaking adorable. She is an event UR though, so stat wise she is pretty weak. An elegant SK card that provides a shield with her tap active, increases the appeal of fellow elegant cards, and a well below average live show active that just increases crit rates of elegant cards upon completion of ACs for the next 5 notes. Both of the event gacha URs are usable, but I wouldn't go out of my way to scout for them unless you want to tier. The event Maki is another in the line of usable elegant scores with decently high appeal at limit break 0, an appeal boost tap active that mirrors her initial UR, a passive appeal boost to fellow first years, and a live show active that increases the appeal of other first years by 5% for the entire live if it triggers at the start of the live. The event Setsuna in the second part of the banner is a usable Smile Guard card, but has a very low appeal stat, making her another strictly defensive card along the lines of FES Maru. She has the standard tap active heal, the all cards stamina buff, and her LSA is extremely poor, only generating shield equal to 20% of her stamina at the beginning of a life. Before we get to the FES banner, let's quickly talk about the Story Chapter 14 update. With it, we get the attribute version of Wonder Zone and a new song, Koi ni Naritai Aquarium. Both Wonder Zone and Koi Aqua have song gimmicks that cannot be cleansed, so don't waste a card slot on a cleanser. For Wonder Zone, all of the gimmicks revolve around SP cards, with ACs 1, 2, 4, and 6 giving a base SP gauge gain of 50% to SP cards, while ACs 3 and 5 reduce the base appeal of non-SP cards by 50%. As for Koi Aqua, you're going to need to strap up some of your strongest healing guard cards, as there are a bunch of 10k damage nodes at the beginning of the song, so get ready to heal so that you can keep your stamina in the green. In addition, 3 of the 4 ACs revolve around guard cards, as the first increases the skill activation rate of guard cards by 50%, the second decreases base appeal of non-guard cards by 50%, the third increases base SP gauge gain of guard cards by 100%, and the last AC increases base appeal of voltage cards by 8% for every guard card you have in your team during the AC. Finally, we end the month of September on the 6th FES banner, featuring a natural SP Umi and an elegant guard Ruby. The natural SP Umi has a tap active that mirrors that of FES Karen, but actually adds more voltage to your next SP skill, even though she has a lower base appeal than Karen. As for her passive, it is substantially weaker than that of Karen, as it is a technique buff for just other natural attribute cards, but her live show active is one we've never seen before, which adds 1% of her total technique to the SP gauge if it procs on one of her taps. The elegant guard Ruby UR is another in the line of strictly defensive guard cards. Her tap active heal is on par with FES Nico, but she starts with 200 more base stamina, so her heal is going to be stronger. The downside though is that she starts up with 450 less base appeal than Nico. Her live show active is also very weak, as it is just damage reduction during an appeal chance. Whew, that was a long one. Congratulations to you if you watched that video from start to finish. You're a freaking boss. If you couldn't stand listening to my voice for that long and needed to watch it in chunks, don't worry, I totally get it. I still give you props for watching the video. At the time I'm releasing this video, I'll probably be working on the Super Big Live video. So if you want to be alerted when that video comes out, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you can see when I get that video uploaded. Once again everyone, thank you for watching, take it easy, I'll see you guys next time.